Today's guest might be most well known for his role in the Netflix series Bridgerton, but he's making his mark in music with his debut show coming up October 30th. Please welcome Modern Oli to Televised magazine. How's your day been so far?
Hey. It's been great. Yeah, it's been awesome. I played some squash. I don't know if you have squash in the States. It's like,
I've heard of it, but I've never played it. You'll have to
yeah,
explain it a little bit.
I'm not great at it, but it's kind of a cross between like racquetball, if you've got racquetball,
Okay.
and maybe pickleball. It's got walls and it's hard. And
Yeah.
one of my co-stars in the play I'm doing at the moment is very good at squash. So he was like, "Come down," and he absolutely humiliated me.
So you
So
got you got talked into getting whooped for an hour.
absolutely, and my ego is currently on the floor. So here we go. Let's.
Okay. We can boost
This
your
is a
ego
nice
from here.
opportunity for you to tell me
Yeah,
how great I am at other things. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
of course. The debut show is October 30th and it's already sold out, which is insane. How does it feel to be this early in your music journey and kind of have so much support already?
Yeah, it is amazing because I think yeah it's a straight. Obviously, I've been an actor for 5 years, and you know I'm kind of asking people to take my hand and come with me on an adventure into something that's a little bit different. And
Mhm.
so it's been really heartening and humbling, really, to have so many people willing to take a risk, buy a ticket to my show, especially because I haven't released any music. So
Yeah.
it's going to be a really special night in the sense that people are going to be hearing the songs literally for the first time. And yeah, I feel very, very supported and loved, and I'm so, so grateful. And I hope it bodes well. We're building some momentum and some excitement about it that hopefully will carry forward when the songs come out. So yeah, it
Yeah.
feels really special.
What can fans at the show expect to see and hear? Because you mentioned none of the music's out publicly yet. I've been fortunate enough to hear a little bit of it, but
Yeah.
what can fans at the show expect in terms of is it going to be all originals? Are there going to be some cover songs? What's the flow of that night going to be like?
Yeah, so we're gonna play a lot of originals, but we've got a couple of covers in there,
Okay.
kind of some like surprising ones maybe. And I've also going to be doing a one of the covers is actually we're going to do a kind of duet version of quite a well-known pop song with someone who I'm not going to divulge who that person is, but she is yeah, she's someone who I've worked with and going to be continuing to work with, and yeah, she's going to be our surprise guest for the night. We'll do a cover together, and then yeah, we're going to play, quite a few originals, 8 or 9 originals, and
Hmm.
they're taken pretty much from the EP, that has been recorded, EP album, that has been recorded, and yeah, I'm again like it's kind of scary because it's diving into the deep
Yeah.
end, but
Is it your first like musical performance in front of people, not in like a theatrical musical aspect, in like a music aspect?
yeah, pretty much. Like I don't know if you have sofa sounds in the States, but
Never heard of
yeah,
them.
it's like a thing. It's
Or it.
SOFAR is a kind of there's a circuit basically of kind of pop-up acoustic shows that happen in London or
Okay.
across the UK, actually across Europe, and they have quite a big following. So I've done a couple of those, which have been packed out and played a few of my songs acoustically.
Hmm.
And I did another acoustic show, because I'm on the keys, for about half of the songs. They're quite easy to adapt into a more stripped back setting. But for this show, this is the first time that I've ever played the songs in like their full version. We've got a four-piece band. It's going to be loud, and in
Yeah.
your face, and it's sounding really, really exciting. And all the kind of stuff that I've been cultivating with the sound in terms of synth sounds and sampled sounds, they're all gonna be a part of what people hear on the night. So it's gonna be like a total kind of experience and journey. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like fans are in for a really good night. I mean, they'll get new songs, covers, surprises. duets, full production, which sounds insane. What inspired this like career move into music? Wikipedia says that you spent some time in your teens playing in bands. Did that lead into this at all?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've been writing songs pretty much as long as I can remember. I started singing, you know, at a it kind of came very naturally to me. I always
Hmm.
wanted to sing along to whatever was on the TV, or film or something, particularly musicals in the very beginning. And then, yeah, when I was a teenager, I got into writing songs like proper, like kind of, properly sitting down and writing a song and taking it to my mates who were musicians and being like, shall we play these? And that led to being in a couple of bands, of varying quality. Uh, some some of which let's say it was an opportunity to, you know, safely flex my muscles without too many prying
Hmm.
eyes. So it was very fun, very free, very non-judgmental, and
Yeah.
but then when it came to sort of like, I guess when you hit 18, 19, then you're like, okay, I've got to kind of grow up and pick a career. I
Hmm.
sort of gravitated towards acting. Um, and so when I kind of in my later 20s, like I've started to be like, oh, okay, I kind of want to go back to whatever it was that initially, got me excited about writing songs and being in bands. And, I missed that part of my life. So, and I also think that songwriting is something, a way in which to express yourself, a way in which to feel
Hmm.
a sense of solidarity and community with like-minded people who are going through similar challenges in their lives. And I certainly felt like, again, through my 20s, I'd gone, I'd changed so much and been faced with so much, whether that was romantic challenges or professional challenges or, friendships, family, all these things start to intensify. And um, I wanted to write about it and I wanted to kind of dive in and be like, try and make sense of it. So that's, I think, the fuel that keeps me going now is a desire to get in a room with people and kind of just like talk it out or sing
Hmm.
it out, I
Sing
guess,
it out.
together.
Sing it out,
Yeah.
especially in this case. When it comes to these original songs, what can fans expect when they finally get to hear them?
Um, I think you can expect a lot of like catchy melodies.
Hmm.
I love, I love just classic pop melodies. I grew up listening to, you know, a lot of radio stuff, a lot of like The Cure, who were a massive band of, Joy Division, The Smiths, REM,
Hmm.
um, like all those sorts of people, Duran Duran, these
So
kind
you're
of like
pulling from like the 80s pop
a lot of
influences.
80s
Okay.
pop, a lot of 80s pop. Um, and then I kind of, I guess it's like a fusion. Then when got into being a teenager, I got really into like Radiohead,
Hmm.
and that wave of bands, like the slightly more sad boy,
Yeah.
pain, that fed my teenage angst. But it was still always, I think bands like Radiohead always very melody driven. It was always
Hmm.
very, um, bands like Sigur Rós as well, the Icelandic band who I
Are you
loved.
going to be able to see Radiohead on their tour that it like
Oh
sold out
God.
immediately?
No, I mean, I signed up and I just got the email saying, sorry, you've been unsuccessful.
Yeah.
So,
One of my friends managed, he also lives in the States, managed to get tickets to one of the Berlin shows.
right, so he's going to fly over to
He's gonna
Berlin.
fly to Berlin to see Radiohead
Well,
on like I think it's like December 5th or something like that.
I mean, to be honest, that's a pretty good reason
I
to
mean,
go to
yeah,
Berlin.
they haven't toured as Radiohead since like, I don't know,
I know.
16, 17. It's been almost a decade, I think.
I know, and I don't know whether I just, I'm sure they're going to be tickets sold,
Look at the
on,
resale market and spend
yeah, for
$2,500.
oh God. Yeah, I mean, who am I kidding? I can't afford that. But I'll watch it on YouTube. I'll watch all the bootlegs. That's what I
Yep.
like to do, which is what I always used to do as a teenager. I would just
That's what got me
end the
through the
CD.
Oasis tour.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah. I didn't see him either.
yeah,
I know.
we'll have more opportunities, I
But no,
hope.
in terms of what people can expect, yeah, I think it's like it's that classic thing of introspective, dark, lyrical content
Hmm.
combined with like upbeat, catchy melodies, a lot of synths, a lot of big drums.
Yeah.
Um, it's a pop record, and it's but there's a lot going on under the surface, and yeah, I
Hmm.
think people are going to be dancing to it, maybe also crying to it.
Yeah, I'm 9 years late to the game with it, but I finally started Stranger Things about 2 weeks ago. So it's had me
Oh
in that
my
like
God.
80s music mood as of late. I was up to like 1:30 in the morning last night listening to music from the
Absolutely
show.
obsessed. I'm obsessed with that show. It's
It's
so good.
insane. Like I don't know how I'm so late to it. I watched the first episode when the pandemic started and I never followed up on it. And now I'm here. I've watched like a season and a half in a week, you know?
So where are you now? Where?
I'm slightly over halfway through season two.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think episode six is where I'm at now.
Right.
Season
Right.
two.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it gets so good. Season two's fantastic. And then is it season what's the one with Vecna and all of that? Was that when the Kate Bush thing went viral? Was that season three or four? I'm
That
not
was
sure.
four.
Four.
Kate, yeah,
Four is
Kate Bush and
fantastic.
Metallica carried season four. I know that. I've
Oh
been
my
lucky.
God.
I've been lucky enough to avoid quite a bit of the spoilers, which blows my mind.
It's impressive.
So,
That's impressive. And also like, Joe Keery from
yeah,
that
he's
show.
got his own music out now.
He's got to do,
Starting.
I think I think there's always a bit of a always people, I don't blame people for slightly rolling their eyes when another actor goes, "Oh, I'm gonna try my hand at music."
Mhm.
But I think Joe's a really good example of where like, you know what, this guy can fucking do it. He
Yeah.
can really do it. I think his new record in particular, like, blew me away. I was
So
like, God.
his music had evaded me for the longest time, and then I started Stranger Things, and I was like, "Oh, this dude's really cool in this show." And I pulled out my iPod specifically to show that I was listening
You've
to the
got an
new album.
iPod.
Oh yeah, I do. I pulled
I
this out because
love it.
it inspired me to finally listen to his music. So I've had his new album on here, not the deluxe. I know the deluxe like doubles the tracks.
Deluxe, yeah, I haven't really gotten into the deluxe. So
Yeah,
I'm a little bit intimidated by the
but
deluxe. I'm like,
I've been going through the bass album quite a bit
oh,
over
it's
the
so
last few
good.
days.
It's
It's so good,
so
so good. I
good.
don't know what sound I expected, but the kind of like Beatles-esque pop was not it, but it's so good.
I think it's so cool, and like, I'd be lying if a little bit of that didn't make it into my record. I think it's so cool, and I think it's what we're kind of all we want. I think we miss bands. At the end of
Yeah.
the day, we miss bands, and bands have sort of evaded the charts and
Hmm.
people in circles for a long time. We don't have the new Radioheads and the new Beatles. They don't
Yeah.
really exist, and
And
like,
I think it's the
yeah.
UK especially that's pushing that forward. The UK and Europe as a whole. I've seen bands like Fontaines DC and Wonder Horse come through and
Oh, Wonder
break
Horse are
out.
great.
Wonder
Yeah.
Horse are great. I wish because their presence in the US is very, very small.
Right.
Before Jacob Slater had like a tooth problem and they had to like cancel their shows in the
Oh my
US
God.
over the summer, but they were only doing like 6 shows in like the biggest cities. Like it was like Chicago, New York City,
Yeah.
Philadelphia, I think was on the
Yeah.
list. Just because they're not that big here. I've only ever had one other person that I know say that they know who Wonder Horse is, but Fontaine's DC are at least growing and
I think it is
doing well.
still America is still like
The pop
a kind of
star,
thing of its own that
yeah.
you really need to conquer it, because yeah, there's
Hmm.
loads of British bands who I grew up listening to, and then I mention it to I've got a lot of American friends, and I mention these bands, and they're like, never ever heard of them.
Yeah.
I'm like,
It's
what? I'm like, oh, we've heard of Coldplay. Okay, so Coldplay,
mhm.
basically it's Coldplay and maybe like one other band.
Yeah.
Like Pulp. Like, I love Pulp.
Yeah.
Jarvis Cocker and all that. I don't know. I feel like they're not massive in America.
I know of Pulp, but I don't know any
Yeah.
songs.
Yeah. I mean, they're
So,
so good. They're one of my
yeah.
favorite bands. Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting because for the most part, like music is worldwide. There's artists that capture attention all over the world, but then there's artists who also kind of like stick to their home country a little bit. Like Robbie Williams has
Oh
not
yeah.
really broken through here at all.
That's
Um,
That is weird. That is
Yeah.
really weird. I remember an American friend of mine saying, "Oh, yeah, my ex-boyfriend used to be obsessed with Robbie Williams," and I was like, "Ah, okay." And she was like, "No, no, no, that was weird because
Yeah.
no one gives a fuck about Robbie
Yeah.
Williams."
No one knows who he is here. Which is weird because then when I first heard about him like a year or so ago, I looked through his discography and I was like, oh, he's got songs with Tony Iommi from Black Sabbath. He's got
I
really
know,
huge hits,
I know.
and then he's just not no presence in the US. It's weird.
It is weird, but I mean, hey, he's very successful. Luckily, he's
Yeah.
successful enough.
Well, hey, since you and Joe Keery are both on Netflix, got to get a collab going, and then you can kind of cross the country barriers there.
I would love to, I would love to, and I think, one of the great things about, shows like Bridgerton and Stranger Things is they become international and
Yeah.
they sort of transcend, cultural, localized
Divides.
cultural
Yeah.
divides, exactly. And I think that's what great music can do. But I think it is hard, and I hope that, I'm hoping next year to do some shows in America
Hmm.
and there's a little bit of an appetite for that off the back of Bridgerton, and that's great, and that's something I really want to build and build because bringing your music, it's great doing shows in London. Absolutely love doing shows in London. You know, well, I think I will. We'll see. I haven't
Yeah.
done any yet, but once I have, I can make that decision. But I'm excited to take the music elsewhere and to visit people all over the world.
Hmm.
That's the goal with this. So yeah,
Yeah. Are we allowed to like hint at songs that aren't out yet? Because there's one song in particular that I want to ask about, but if we're not giving out any
absolutely.
information, okay.
Of course we can hit.
The song American Complex stood out to me quite a bit.
Well, yeah.
What inspired that track specifically?
Wow. This is really interesting that you picked that track. So American Complex. Appreciate that whoever's listening or watching doesn't know this song. Um, but although you're welcome to play a little clip of it, actually, I'm totally cool with that. So maybe we can chat about that if you want to.
Okay, yeah, I can insert
Um,
one in post.
yeah, if you want to whack one in. Um, American Complex is American Complex is about there's a little theme that runs through the EP, which or the songs. Who knows if it's going to be an EP or album? We don't really know at this point, but the songs.
Figuring it out as you
Um,
go.
yeah, we'll figure it out as I go. Um, but based on my own life of being in a relationship with someone who's American, and falling in love with an American girl, and I guess American Complex. There's another song on the record called Transatlantic, which is sort of like a massive, like just a full on like celebration of like international love.
Hmm.
Um, and then American Complex is I guess what it says on the tin of like it's about those times where maybe things it's don't you notice you kind of I guess American Complex is about me as a British guy kind of owning up to my pitfalls, you know, my kind of emotional, stifled emotional
Yeah.
personality, being so it's kind of that culture clash, I
Hmm.
guess, and you know, falling in love actually with American or 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 the kind of sensibilities of other cultures and kind of going, I want a bit of that. I want to feel a bit of that. And
Yeah.
like I want, I want to just be consumed by another culture and hopefully take on some of the openness and the empathy and the presence and the love that I feel like people from places like America, who I've met. I'm like, God, you're so open-armed, and
Hmm.
sometimes I feel like as a culture, at least where I've grown up in the UK, it can be a little bit cold and a little bit closed off. So American Complex is sort of about navigating being the cold, closed off British guy in a relationship with someone who just brings so much love and openness and communication
Hmm.
and empathy, and it is by its very nature complex, and that's sort of where
Yeah.
obviously American Complex it plays on it being literally complicated, but also
Hmm.
like an obsession, like a complex, a sort of almost like a kind of feverish like obsession with someone. So,
Yeah. You've
but
seemed
you
pretty
picked pretty
open.
much some. Sorry,
Yeah.
Karen.
Oh no, you've seemed pretty open today, so I'm glad she's working out, like rubbing off on you, you
Yeah, well, thank
know.
you. Yeah, to be honest, I have, I have that's something I feel like I've learned over the years,
Hmm.
to be try to be less guarded and try to be more open. But you've picked probably the most complicated song on the
Yeah,
whole,
the
which is
hardest one to
great, which
explain.
is so cool because it's yeah, it's actually going to be I might as well I'm happy to divulge that I'm going to open with that at the show.
Okay.
It's a really kind of cool opener and kind of has different parts to it, and
Hmm.
you know. Um, yeah, it's a song very close to my heart, and it's probably one of the most recent songs that I've written. I wrote it probably only a few months ago. So
Oh wow. So
yeah,
when did you start writing the songs that are on the album, and was this the was American Complex the last one?
I think American Complex was was the last one. Yeah, that one, and also there's a song called People Pleaser. Both of those, I wrote sort of in the
Hmm.
last few months. I started writing songs for this kind of like cohort of songs began about 2 years ago.
Okay.
Um, and some of the more sort of like, I guess, kind of classic, um, the kind of more classic songs or the feelings songs on the record were probably what I wrote about 2 years ago. Songs like Crying for Love, Other People, um, those sorts of numbers. And then it's sort of evolved into slightly more complicated and ambitious song structures and lyrical content, I guess, as it's gone on.
Yeah.
Um, and it's probably got poppier as well. I think it's got more drums,
Hmm.
synths, all of that. So there's definitely a kind of sonic journey over the course of the record, um, which I'm really excited to kind of navigate and take people on. I guess like
Yeah.
it's not just like every song kind of sounds the same.
Hmm. Which is good. Those emotional highs and lows and changing sounds will keep it interesting for people who are
Yeah,
listening for however long it ends up being.
yeah, yeah. Who knows? Who knows?
One last question before we start wrapping things up. A little bit of an
Yeah.
oddball one. Wikipedia says that you studied theology at the University of Bristol before transferring to Guildhall, where you graduated. What made you study theology, and what later made you transfer? I'm guessing the transfer had something to do with wanting to pursue acting.
Yeah, I guess um, I'd sort of grown up. I'd grown up sort of, in a kind of religious Christian environment.
Hmm.
I'd gone to a boarding school where we had to go to, chapel every day and sing hymns and all of that. So religion was something that was sort of part of my life, whether I liked it or not.
Hmm.
And but the element about it that made me want to study it and study philosophy and all of that was to be honest like a curiosity about life and kind of why we're here and how to make sense of our existence as human beings and
Yeah.
you know a pursuit of some kind of understanding and knowledge of whether or not there is a kind of right or wrong way to approach life. And
Hmm.
I guess for better or for worse, I've been a little bit obsessed with that question all my life. And it started off, probably in studying philosophy and literature and theatre and of course theology. But then it's transitioned into my life as an artist of writing music, writing poetry, um, performing as an actor, like working on plays, working on television. I see it all as a kind of pursuit of trying to um, gain understanding of what humanity is and to me, that's the everlastingly interesting question, and
Yeah,
that's
because
what
no
led
one
me
will
to
ever have all the answers ever.
no, and I think that's sort of part of it, like it's funny because I went to people sometimes think, oh, you must have been religious or something when you went to study theology. And I suppose I was a little bit religious, but I very quickly sort of moved into a more agnostic
Yeah.
headspace because the more you look into things, the more you realize that it's very, very complicated and
Hmm.
it's very hard to have certain truths and that's why ultimately I turn to art. I think art has a nuance and is ever
Yeah.
evolving, and therefore I find it, for me, that's where I find kind of solace. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, and art kind of accepts everybody regardless,
It
because
does.
anybody
Exactly.
can do
Yeah.
it, anybody can create it, anybody can consume it.
Absolutely. And it responds to what people need in the cultural moment you're in, rather
Hmm.
than something that was written thousands of years ago,
Yeah.
which is perfectly interesting and fine, but it is a little bit outdated.
A
Let's
little
put it
bit.
that way.
Yeah. Art reflects culture is what we're getting at. Thank you so much for joining me. Before we go, where can fans find you on social media?
Okay, so fans, you can find me at Modern Oli on Instagram, and also at Oli Higginson on
Hmm.
Instagram. Instagram's my kind of main thing, but I am also on YouTube, Modern Oli, and I'm on Twitter as well, and I'm on TikTok at Oli Higginson. So yeah, but I think Instagram's the one at Modern Oli. That's the one probably to go to because everything's kind of coming out of there. So that's the best way to
Yeah.
link up with me. And there'll be a link there to sign up to my mailing list and stuff, which has all sorts of treats on the
Hmm.
way. Yeah.
So there you go. Instagram's where you can get all the news first. And the question that I end every interview with, what are your three favorite songs at the moment? Whether I asked you or a complete stranger, what's your on repeat?
Great question. Number one right now, Spiders by Lola Young.
Okay.
Obsessed with that off her new record. Um, Jigsaw Falling into Place, Radiohead.
Hmm.
I've been kind of going back into some of their stuff. Um,
There was a period in like March where I listened to the Bends every day for like a week and a half straight. So
the Benz was my first record I ever bought. It's just amazing
yeah,
for
when
me.
you get back into Radiohead, you don't stop. It just
I know.
consumes.
No,
Yeah.
it is so well. There's just so much, isn't there? It's so
Yeah.
so good. Let me have a look at my on repeat on Spotify and
Okay.
see what my third one will be. Um, oh, you
I
know
told
what?
what's up?
Well, no, well, I'm on the repeat now.
Okay.
Sorry, what were you gonna say? What were you gonna say?
I told myself this year that I was going to go through Radiohead's whole discography and just kind of work my way through it. And I got to Amnesiac, and then other stuff just kind of caught up with me. So I still have like Amnesiac, OK Computer, and like the couple other ones at the end to go through.
Great.
So
Amnesiac's fucking great as well. Motion
yeah, it
picture
is.
soundtrack. I love that. Um, I've actually been, well, I'm going to give you two.
Okay.
One, so this will be third and fourth. I really like Ethel Cain. I've been
Yeah,
listening to Ethel
I
Cain.
I liked Preacher's Daughter when it came out. I
Yes,
gave I gave it
Preacher's
a 10
Daughter.
out of 10 after my first
Yeah,
listen. So
really?
like this is great. And then her new album, I've only listened to it once. I'm failing on.
Right, yeah.
Yep,
No,
I
her
haven't
new
spent as
stuff is
much time
good.
with it.
Um, and like everyone else, I'm listening to Somber.
Hmm.
Um, but I've been listening to How to Live. My third one would be How to Live by Delwater Gap.
Okay,
Uh,
is that one of his new ones? I know he's got an
that's
album
one.
on the way.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
one. That's his new single.
I've not heard any of
Um,
the singles off the new album yet. I'm
it's good.
debating. I'm debating on just saving them for when the full album's out because I don't listen
Yeah,
to him a ton anyway. So it's easier for me to be like, well, I can just wait until we have all 10
yeah. No,
songs to
I think
release.
that would be nice. I think that's a good idea because it's out soonish, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like if I'm way too in too deep with an artist, I have to listen to the singles when they come out. But if it's one I listen to a little bit, I can make myself be patient enough to wait for the
yeah,
full album. It just kind of depends.
yeah.
But hey, thank you so much for joining me. I had a lot of fun
Thank you.
talking to you.
Yeah, I had a great time too. Thank you for such brilliant questions.
Of course,
So
it was
good.
fun. It was fun getting
Sorry
all
for
this
this
put
terrible
together.
light. I'm going to apologize to anyone
You're
watching.
fine.
This is the
I
worst
promise.
light.
Nobody cares about the lighting,
Um,
I promise. You should see how bad
um,
my setup was when I first started.
no, it's because I'm living away from home for work at the moment, so I
Oh
don't have
yeah.
all the things I usually have. So I'm at my I'm at kind of at a loss. But thank you if you've watched me through this on this terrible writing. You're a legend. So yeah. But thank you so
Everybody
much,
who
Chris.
watched all the way through loves it. Thanks once again. Thank you everybody for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.